Trae Young is one of the most interesting young players to enter the NBA in recent years. When he first joined the league, everybody was looking at him, and they haven't stopped doing so ever since. Since then, there have been many more people watching him play because of how engaging his style is. It's a lot of fun to see him shoot from far away. He has a lot of skills when it comes to moving around with the ball. His passes are incredible, and his strike into the basket is great. Yes, you are well aware of all this. But today, we're going to discuss aspects of Trae Young that aren't as widely recognized. Some of them are great, some put him in the company of all-time greats, and some are just weird, like the last one, which we're pretty sure no one would have guessed. So stick with us to the end of the video as we show you 10 things you didn't know about Trae Young. Number 10. A big range for a small child. Since Young was a high school student, his shooting range has been singled out for acclaim. It was at this time that many started to compare him to Steph Curry, but the origin of this motion stretches back a few years before that. Young was consistently the smallest player on his travel teams, and as a result, the vast majority of his shots were blocked. Consequently, he began shooting floaters, even as his father used a broomstick to keep a watchful check on him. However, his father instructed him to take his shots from a greater distance away from the hoop. This was challenging as well, especially in the beginning. For Young to reach the net, he had to exert all of his physical strength. However, Young quickly taught his muscles to remember what to do, and by the time he was a senior in high school, he had become an expert at shooting from a significant distance. This occurred with the Oklahoma Sooners as well as the NBA's Atlanta Hawks. Number 9. Home education. Young went to high school in his hometown of Norman, Oklahoma, where he graduated from Norman North High School. In 2015, he led Norman North to the district championship. As a sophomore, he averaged 25 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds per game and was named Oklahoma's Sophomore of the Year. He was also a big reason why Norman North won the championship. During his junior year, he led his team to a 28-4 record, a regional championship, and a runner-up finish in the 2016 Oklahoma Class 6A championship game. This makes it clear that he made a lot of improvements to his game. He averaged 34.2 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 4.6 assists during that season. During his senior year, he shot 48.9% from the field and averaged 42.6 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.1 assists per game. Young picked up the fundamentals of the game from his father, Rayford Young, a former athlete with Texas Tech, who also played for the school. Rayford Young started all 3 of his last years of collegiate basketball at Tech, even though he was only 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he averaged 16 points per game throughout those years. His best performance came against Kansas and Paul Pierce when he scored 41 points, 32 of which came in the game's final 9 minutes. This was his best game. At Tech, Rayford Young made the acquaintance of Candace, who would later become his wife. In Lubbock, Texas, Trae was born right before the start of Rayford's junior year of high school. Number 8. Meet the ball in the bucket. Young has never had a basketball season in which he scored less than the previous season. When he was a sophomore in high school, he started playing basketball. On average, he scored 25 points per game. He averaged 34 points the next year, and then he averaged 42 as a senior. During his 1 year at Oklahoma, he led the country in both points scored and assists. The only time he averaged less than 20 points was in his first year with the Hawks, but he still made first team All-Rookie. Number 7. Atlanta's star. Young recently said that he could no longer go undercover in Atlanta, especially at Lenox Mall in Buckhead, which was one of his favorite places. When asked how soon people there would notice him, he said, "As soon as I pull up to the valet." In the past, the Hawks haven't been as charismatic as the Falcons or the Braves. Dominique Wilkins, Joe Johnson, Al Horford, and Mookie Blaylock have not been extremely successful when it comes to selling products. Dominique Wilkins' statue, which is exhibited at the entry of State Farm Arena, is the only exception to this rule. Young maintains solid relationships with all of Atlanta's most renowned rap artists, including members of the Migos and 2 Chainz, among others in the city's rap scene. Number 6. Gigi's man. Gigi Bryant, who is the daughter of Kobe Bryant, liked Young. She was impressed by how well Young did, even though he was just over 6 feet tall. During the 2019 and 2020 season, Kobe took her to see Young play twice, once in Brooklyn against the Nets, and again when the Hawks played at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Number 5. Making it up the charts. Young has only played for the Hawks for 3 seasons, but he is already number 7 on the team's all-time list of three-pointers made. He should soon be in the top 5. Young could be the all-time leader in scoring and assists if he stays healthy and has a long career. Only Curry, who plays for the Warriors, is at the top of these career lists for any team. Number 4. The trade for Luka Doncic. Because of the trade between the Mavericks and the Hawks on draft day in 2018, Young will always be linked to Doncic. As a bonus, Dallas gave the Hawks a first-round pick in 2019. Young said that when he first got to Atlanta, he felt pressured to live up to the trade, which was not well received by everyone. So, Young had trouble in the Summer League in Salt Lake City and the first few games of the Summer League in Las Vegas. But then he got hot in Vegas, hit his stride in the middle of his first season, and hasn't had a long stretch of bad basketball since. As a side note, Young and Doncic are good friends and often text each other. Number 3. A double threat. Young said that he would love to lead the NBA in scoring and assists at the same time as he did in college. Only Nate Archibald of the KC Omaha Kings did that in 1972 to 1973. Also, only Wilt Chamberlain, James Harden, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook have led the league in both scoring and assists in different seasons. Young was 4th in points scored and 2nd in assists last season. Young was 14th in points scored and 2nd in assists this season. Number 2. Taking a bow. Young is only one of 2 players who have scored 30 or more points in 3 straight playoff games at the Garden while playing for an away team. The other player was Michael Jordan. Young caused the Knicks a lot of grief in the first round by winning 2 of 3 games, including one with the game-winning shot, and then memorably bowing before leaving the court at the end of the game that eliminated them from contention. This caused the Knicks a lot of trouble. That positioned him right alongside Jordan and Reggie Miller as one of the most successful players on the opposing team at the Garden. This made him one of the most disliked players on the opposing squad. Number 1. Best buddies. The Nuggets' rising star Michael Porter Jr. is Young's best friend in the NBA. Young calls Porter his brother and says, "We talk all the time, at least twice or 3 times a week." Young asked Porter to join his AAU team when they were both teenagers. In 2016, they won the prestigious Nike Peach Jam together, and both of them were named co-MVP. As a unit, they made presentations to college coaches, but Porter ultimately decided to enroll at the University of Missouri after his father was offered and accepted an assistant coaching position there. He regretted not being able to stay in touch to keep up with the relationship.